Hello everyone, welcome to another Minecraft video with me, Nudos. You know what, we're just gonna jump right in today. I feel like I spent a lot of time here, like 20 minutes of the last video maybe, just kind of talking everybody through my thought process, and I like doing that. I like hanging out with everybody. This is a Let's Play series after all, and if we think about that contraction, that is let us play. So I think the idea there is that we should be in this together, and you can go on the journey with me, all my trials, my tribulations, my frustrations. Maybe you can relate to some of them, or maybe you can offer me some advice, which I would love, down in the comments, by the way. So I kind of gave up on the kitchen, but I have done some things with it here. I did a little bit of Google research, and a lot of people are using this combo, the smokers and the rails, and I think that works pretty well for the stove. I might just do barrels. One option for this is to put banners in front of things, and then you can make it look more like cabinet doors. I can't really do that because this is only a one tall, and I can't really go up into there. Over here we have the light, and same situation here because these are all top slabs. I wanted to use chains, but then there's a weird hole. There's like a gap in the ceiling, so for now we're just doing this. This is just quartz slabs and end rods. We'll decide if I want to do that. I did want to use end rods, either end rods or sea lanterns, because I want the bluer light. That makes sense for me in a kitchen setting, whereas over here we want it to be comfy, cozy, warm lighting. Then over here we've got the sink. You know, this is pretty classic. I could use a banner to disguise that, but we'll see once I put some more shelving around it. And I'm uncertain how I feel about this. This is polished andesite to use for an extractor hood, basically. Gotta have an extractor hood. I don't know how many of you are homeowners like me, but man, let me tell you, extractor hoods, they're the way. Don't fall for that crap where it just recirculates it into the house. No. That doesn't work. You want it venting out. But speaking of venting out, that makes me think, maybe we should use some brick and build a chimney back here, huh? That would be a good idea. These sorts of houses would have had chimneys. That won't help with keeping the living room warm. So the other option would be to put the chimney there, but I think the way I've set this up, that's kind of weird. But what we could do instead is also tap into that same chimney for a fireplace up here. And that fireplace would be in the bedroom area, which I think makes a lot of sense, keep you warm at night. So I don't want to linger on this too long. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Do you like when I sit here and ramble on and on about my design philosophy and my process for coming up with things? I legitimately don't know what you guys find interesting. I think it's interesting to let you guys know what I'm thinking about, but I don't want to spend entire videos on just trying to get this kitchen set up. That seems silly to me. So I will just continue working on this throughout the video. In the meantime, let's go sleep and then work on something else. Now, something else I think we should be doing here is, well, we have a house up there and I still have this road here, which is a little silly. This road is meant to go up to the house, so you know what? Maybe it's time we do that, which means I need a bunch of cobblestone and, what is this? Andesite, smooth stone, not smooth stone, just regular stone, gravel, tough. We need the works and mossy cobble. So, we can make mossy cobble now because we have the moss farm. So that's exciting. So let's get building on the road, huh? That's something new and different from being stuck in the house forever. All right, well, I meant to do like a time lapse of this, but I forgot to hit the button. So anyway, I put out the basic form here. It's not perfect. I kind of don't like that this is just so straight, but then again, it is supposed to be a road, so maybe that makes sense. But now we just need to move on with the texturing. I think that's generally okay. I don't want it to go necessarily all the way to the house. I feel like it should have a yard, maybe? I don't know. I'll figure that out as we go. And then I'm going to start putting some slabs in there too once we get going with this. Here we go. It's all done now and lit up. Did that off camera. And I also finished that one. So let's take a look with FreeCam. So this is the path up to the house. It's all lit up. Then it goes this way and it also curves off that way. Although I think I need to fix this. So it's a little bit more like this kind of gradual thing. And I never really did do anything with that. And there's all these buttons that I need to put in, but you get the point. The main bit of texturing is now finally done. All the way up through there, all the way up there, all the way down to whatever we end up doing over there, and over to the library, and over to the blacksmith shop. So that is feeling pretty good. Maybe it's time we start looking at some of the stuff in the kitchen again. Okay, so I have done some more stuff here. I might put another 2 barrels up here, or maybe some floating shelves. This is meant to be sort of a vintage style fridge. There will eventually be a banner in front to mimic the doors, or the big door, or whatever. I'm on the fence here, so I moved this over one, because while this over here would be centered over that, maybe I move that over one now. The problem was it was 1 block here and 2 blocks between this and the wall. But then it still looked weird. Now it's 1 block, so then I took down the wall, which allowed me to have more room for the table, which is good. But then I still have to deal with this awkward transition, and now it's on both sides. But not only that, this is in line with this, which would hit the window. So then I was thinking maybe we put a bar here, right? And these would be bar stools. We would take slabs and run them up. So that's like bar stools. I think that could work, in which case I probably need to move this light this way, right? Because it would go over the bar, and put a different light here. Maybe a single down sort of chandelier. I think that would work. I'm glad I started rambling out loud, because that gave me an idea for that. Okay, so obviously if I'm going to make this work, then I would need another end rod, and then we could still do... whoops. Whatever. You get the idea here. So this kind of thing, these would be chairs, something along this line, but I think I would use this to keep the theme consistent. So that would give me this. I don't know how I feel about the fact that these are different tones. Something I'm excited about with the winter drop, which is coming up at some point, who knows exactly when, is the option of the pale wood. I kind of think it has a tone that is more in line with quartz. The problem with a lot of the white blocks in this game is that you have cool whites and you have warm whites, and they kind of don't work together, which is a little frustrating. So if we get the pale wood and it's more of a warm white, that will also help over there at the library, because that's all made out of quartz. And one of the problems that I ran into is there's just not a lot of options for texturing that. Just kidding. Shortly after recording that last clip, I saw an announcement. The update is now The Garden Awakens, and it will be out by the time this video is out. So hey, soon we'll have pale wood. Unfortunately, I will not be installing that update anytime soon, I imagine, because all of my mods aren't even updated for this version. Mods. I've been doing a lot more work down here, and I even brought my cat inside, who, of course, decided to come sit on the counter. Bad kitty. So we've got the chandelier, whatever you want to call that, the light finished. We've got the backs on the chairs. And in the kitchen here, we've done this. So this is a whole new setup kind of in the middle here, like a sort of wall. This is like a doorway. We could put maybe an arch over that, and then just cabinets everywhere. I may or may not put different doors on there, but we'll see. This is designed to be sort of a vintage style fridge. The door isn't perfect, but I think it works better than most of the other things, and it actually blends in a bit with that color. We've got our classic Minecraft sink over here, stove with a range hood, and this is what I'm gonna do for the light. I'm not totally sold on the stairs here. I think it works, but I don't know. We'll see. I want it to stay kind of a blue light in here. So yeah, this is pretty good now. I think it might be time to leave this alone for a little bit. Maybe add some rugs in. Other than that, work on actually doing windows and doors. I don't know if I actually talked about this, but I also just changed up the windows. So they're all 2x2 windows now that allows for this to exist and be a natural, what do you want to call that? Divider. Divider is the word I'm looking for. A divider between the two rooms. So, yeah. House. It's starting to look like a house. That's exciting. And it's starting to feel like a place to live with all of this other stuff actually getting a little bit more done now. And of course, now it's raining here, but I also added lights to the front of this. We still need to add more lights to the inside here and a ceiling, but that's coming along. I think what I want to do now is work on some kind of street lights so we can get rid of more of these torches. And there's a couple ways that I think we could maybe do this. One would be... oh, you can't do that, can you? Okay. Something like this going up with a... Here, let's just do it on the small scale here. Let me get my lighting box. I don't think that works. I was going for sort of the Victorian style. So that's maybe a no. If we want it to be on top like that, I think iron bars could work. But that's so skinny, it looks weird. And it would go up higher, obviously. That's one option, though. You can also do these, whoops, just kidding. This sort of thing where you, hold on. Bring this up to maybe here. And then I think the usual way people do this is actually with a fence gate or something, but you do this kind of a thing. Very, very basic. You'd probably put a blackstone wall at the bottom, but that is one way. Probably put this out one more. If I was gonna go this route, that's one way to do that. And then like a big piece of blackstone down there. What, this kind of idea? Excuse me, horse. Honestly, that isn't too bad. I kind of thought that would look worse. Yeah, definitely not the iron bars idea. I don't think that's a great idea. We could potentially... Does this look weird if you squeeze it in there? That adds a little bit of something to it. like a support almost. You know what? I'm not opposed to that. Then I know one way, something that people do sometimes is they'll do this sort of thing is wires going between the lampposts or wherever to provide electricity. I don't know that I want to deal with the illusion of electricity at this particular moment, but I think this is an okay lamp design. I will probably want to do, look at how great bundles are. That was not the thing that I wanted to put down. Maybe we do this at the bottom. Yeah, that adds a little bit more fun to it. I think there's not a whole lot of options for, well, there's polished. We have polished blackstone brick walls, and then there's regular blackstone walls. Let's check out the difference, and then polished blackstone walls. So that one is more like that, and this one is like that. I think we could lean into those as sort of textural variations here, but probably the polished blackstone wall is the better way to go as opposed to the bricks. There we go. Yeah. So let me fill out the streets with these every so often. And let's see what the street looks like. Okay. I made them one taller. I wish the lanterns were a little bigger, or the walls were a little thinner. But now we've got lighting going all the way down, keeping this relatively well lit. This corner, I think, is still technically light level 2, so it should be okay. I'll probably put a few more going down there and over there. And that brings us all the way back to the house. I'm undecided about whether I want to put one up here. Or here. I feel like once we get up here, we'd probably want to have fewer of those because there's a house here. I also put some glass in the windows. But yeah, this house should have its own lighting setup, I think. So we could probably do, oh, this is a fish. This isn't a lantern. But put lights hanging down from there. Maybe some more lanterns just to go along the balcony that I still need to make. That will probably come out one more, I think. And then kind of into here. Then these will be sort of contained within that. Put some railings around it. Maybe for the front, we probably don't need them. Anyway. Look at this. It's really starting to look like some sort of town. Oh, that feels good. That feels really good. I'm very happy with how this turned out. I also waxed up a lot of this and kind of randomly went in and messed some of it up so that it looks a little bit more worn, but not quite as worn as this. I think I went a little harder on this one. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice if one day we can get rid of a little bit more of this. What do you call this? The glow lichen. And we probably could get rid of the stuff that's close to these. Maybe just have one line running down the middle, almost as like a lane divider, but it's a light source as well. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about that. But this is coming along. I've got the last of the lampposts in, and I took out most of the torches. I still have them up on the hills here, and replaced with just enough glow lichen to make sure that there are no light level 0 spots. There are a few that go down to 1 or 2, but it should be still mob proofed without the torch spam. The only issue I have is that, I mean, obviously right now when I don't have really any texture in the grass, they stand out. And at night, there's just pockets of light that especially stand out because this emits a blue light with this shaders that I'm using, and this is a very yellow light. So that is Not ideal. I'd like to have it be a little bit more uniform, but I think once we get some more texture in there, that will maybe stand out a little bit less. When we start getting some gravel and moss carpets and regular green carpets and all that kind of stuff in here, I think that will stand out less. And I also went down to just right here in the middle, and actually, honestly, the only one that's strictly necessary is I think this one or this one. For whatever reason, there's one single spot along all of this that goes down to light level 0, which is a little annoying. But it does look pretty dark in those spots, which I don't necessarily object to. I think that it adds to the realism. You know, if you're going down a street in the middle of the night, especially farther away from a city, there's often just no light on the road. You got to turn your headlights on and all that. So I think that's potentially okay. I could also just put more of these in, or if I find a different light source I want to use that might emit more light than the lantern does. I'm not sure what all the different values are on these things. So I don't know if anybody, excuse you, horse. If anybody has any ideas on the lampposts or the lighting situation or designs for what to do in the kitchen or the living room, you know, let me know. I'm not much of a builder or a designer. I'm a guy doing my best. So let me know what you think. I would love to hear some recommendations and comments from you guys. All this designing and decorating and building has really kind of drained me mentally. I don't know if any of you feel that way. Some of you probably feel invigorated by it, but it takes a lot of mental energy. So I think for the rest of this episode, let's just do something kind of simple. I don't have a wheat farm. I was looking at my list of things to do, and a wheat farm is one of those things that I don't have. There's a lot of ways that we could do this. We could make like a fully automated one that probably has villagers to harvest. And then what do? I think you put another villager that's kind of trapped, and they throw the wheat at that villager, but you collect it in a hopper, and it's a whole thing. And I don't care. I don't need wheat all that often. It's sometimes useful to trade to the farmer villagers. But for the most part, all I really want is just a place where wheat can grow. And for that, we just need hydrated soil and a place to plant seeds. Like, obviously this works, but I think it would be kind of fun to have more of a wheat field. So let's just have a little look around the village here. This could probably work. Sort of a rolling field there of wheat. We could also have it be more outside the village. We could have it be kind of here, although I think I need to eventually run a path down there, and I keep forgetting about this side of the equation. Or we could do it over here, but I think for right now, let's just put it right there. That's not so bad. I think this might be one of the first times I've actually had to deal with phantoms. I'm usually pretty good about sleeping. At any rate, you know, we could probably use that phantom membrane later. I'm just about filled in here. There we go. So it's not the most beautiful thing in the world. I could probably bring it out a little bit more. Let's bring it a little bit more over here, I think, just to round it out some. But that will count as our wheat farm, which I think will work just fine for what I need anyway. There we go. That should be good enough. Nice. That is going to have to do it for this episode as we walk through our nice city street here. This episode, as I already alluded to, was a lot of sort of thinking, processing, buffering in my head, trying to figure out what to put where and how to do it. But hey, now you can see the fruits of all that labor here at night. You can see the light pockets I'm talking about. Again, if you guys have any ideas, please in the comments, let me know. But I do think once we start texturing, that will go away. So if you like the video, please do like it. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video. We are shortly coming up on a full year of Minecraft videos. I think we got until February, so that's pretty exciting. I'll see you guys in that next video. Have a good one.